Next, heart is in shape. So the S was strengths and gifts, heart. Next, motivations, your interests, your passions. This is all heart. Your motivations, your interests, your passions, things you love. Examples: sports, cars, reading, cooking, business. Have you ever noticed that there are some things you dive into and you love? Loving it every minute. Can't get enough. You're soaking it up. That Korean drama, that anime, that video game, you're loving it. And time has flown by. Then there are some things you do and it feels like 30 minutes is 30 years. You may not have known this, but you have a unique fingerprint, eye print, and even an emotional heartbeat. Unique. No one else has it. Fingerprint, eye print, an emotional heartbeat. What? That's the first time I heard that. Next, Proverbs 4:23. Guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. This is the verse he brings up. And he says, there are people in this world that will look at your passions and look at your dreams, and they will want to deny them, dismiss them, or destroy them. Whoo! That's what they're warning people about. Guard your heart because there's dream killers, dream crushers.
Yeah, and I feel it's mostly people that have gotten their dreams killed. They're spreading it, spreading the feeling.
And what's crazy, you're right. They got their dreams killed, and now they just like pushing that on other people. But they could, from their perspective, now because I hear this a lot, bro. Like I've met hundreds of thousands of people, and I've heard this a lot. Is they would see it as, well, I'm just being realistic, telling them realism, realistic. It's that word that is easily used. Realistic. And I understand, I feel like this is why this is so awesome, and I call this thing Jedis, because we are hyper aware that there's a balance. And best way I could describe it is what Gary Vaynerchuk was saying. Is Gary Vaynerchuk says, he's like, what I believe is one of the big reasons why I'm very successful is, he said, I'm a very positive, realistic person. Positive, most positive, realist. That's what I really think what makes us separate. We're not all positive woo woo, but there's a balance that everyone needs to like know about. It's positivity, yes, optimism, because that's the best lens to see from. But realism, don't be delusional. We get that too. We're not small or blind to that. Be realistic.
Yep, and knowing that we are our own hardest critic, we're the ones that will defeat ourselves before anybody else gets us to quit. So
Yes, sir.
we have to find that balance. We can't convince ourselves to quit before, I guess I wouldn't say before someone else, but we can't convince ourselves to quit. But we are our first line of defense when it comes to that. Our first critic.
Yeah.
I
Go
wanted
ahead.
to add.
Yeah.
I,
Yo, we couldn't
changes
hear
for
nothing
others. So
before that.
what's realistic for?
We couldn't hear nothing. we
Oh,
just
I
heard
was,
I want to say something, and then
I was
you
just going to
went in
say,
and out. Go ahead.
oh, how about now? Can we
Yeah.
all hear?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I was going to say, I think also one thing we have to consider is when you talk about being realistic, it also boils down to perspective, because what's realistic for somebody may not be realistic for someone else. So you have to be careful letting people put a limit on what's realistic for you. If someone says, "Oh, this is what's realistic," but reality is it changes from person to person. So it's just something you also have to like take with a grain of salt too.
True, and we are, human. It's natural for us to want to compare ourselves to others and want to believe that what we're experiencing, maybe others will handle it just as well or hard as we are. Sometimes we, forget to account for everybody being different and handling things differently.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't want people to get to this idea of thinking that if someone says, "Hey, you should be more realistic," that may not be the case for you. You shouldn't let anyone put a limit on you because they think by trying to help you, they're suggesting that you be more realistic. It's just that in their world, they may not have a mindset, or they just might not be in a place where everything, I guess, feels so like possible for them, and so they pass those limits down to others and say, "Hey, just be realistic." But as long as you know what's realistic for yourself, then I think you'll be good.